more.
Anybody want to sit next to me?
Just in case.
What?
Put it out there just in case.
Okay, perfect.
Did everybody stop coming in now?
I think we got as many people as we can or something out in the hall. Or any other business.
Type it up, so.
Yeah, we can move up
Yeah,
and
just-
let them in. We'd be trapping people. Excuse me.
Yeah, I got another chair right here. If anyone wants it.
All right. You wants to start meeting, what's up?
I'll start it up. I'm Tyler Bohannon. I'm here kind of representing Bates County Republican Party. We endorsed all three of you guys to be in this office, more or less, you know, so. So we've got some questions, we need some answers. What was the original application date for the ARPA funds? Do you have that on record?
I'd have to go back and see.
Okay. Okay, it was May 11th, 2021.
I'm saying there's 21 something.
Yes, yes. Did you guys sign that or have a contract? How did that go, or was it an application process?
I had to go in, finally got into it, sheriff tried to help me get into it, didn't work, and
Okay.
finally I got into it, because all I needed was a birth certificate.
Right.
After numerous attempts, I got a birth certificate, and 5 minutes later, they says, oh, you're now approved.
So it was
How many
online-
months did it
so
take,
was
Chad?
an online application?
Pardon?
So it was an online application?
Yes, it was through, you had to be signed up with ID Me. That was the problem. You have numerous documents that you have to input into the system for them to verify your identity. Everything that I submitted went. I still needed another one. Every time I put in one, you need another one. Chad's office gave me a new ID, put it in, it says duplicate, new ID needed. The only thing I could find out that I didn't have a passport, I didn't have a non-driver's license. So I went ahead and got a copy of my birth certificate from the health department. Input it, and like I said, 5 minutes after I went in, got a message from them, you've been approved. You will be contacted by a verifier. Verifier came up, got on my phone, in a Zoom deal, showed him my driver's license, matched my face to my driver's license, my military ID to my face, and he says, you're approved, and within a week, we had the funds. But it took months, and I wasn't the only presiding commissioner in the state of Missouri that had problems. But because it's in Bates County, it took me forever to get there, but we got there.
Was there other towns that also applied for funds, or did they have to go through the county for that? You know, let's say City of Adrian, City of Butler, Batchill.
I think that this was strictly federal money that came to the counties. That's
I'm not
pretty
sure
much
on
what they
that. Are
said
you aware of
around
that?
the state. It was just the counties that got the funding.
Okay, just the counties, so,
Yes.
you know, no other city could have done that? Is that how it went through? Are you aware of anything else?
No, I don't, from what I've been able to find out,
Okay.
this was all federal money coming down from the feds to the counties.
Okay.
The
So,
states didn't even have anything in it. Usually the states get involved and they take a percentage. The feds did not let the states have any of this money. It came directly to us.
okay.
Excuse me, I just wanna make sure I'm following. So you applied on the 11th, or you received the funds on the 11th of May?
Jimmy, do you remember when we got the funds?
I'd have to go back,
That's with me, I don't have any information on how when we
Jamie
got
can
it.
tell you that out of her.
You said sometimes it takes 3 months, so was
It
that?
took forever to get into this. Trent and Kenny were sitting here listening to me cuss this machine, trying to get information into it. And I'd be here trying to get it done. I got into ID.me, I had all the credentials, everything set up. It just wouldn't allow me to get the last document that I needed to have.
But at any rate, you definitely applied in 21.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, all right.
So, question,
Yes,
along
ma'am.
with that, ARPA application that you did online, was there any ability to have, a position or somebody to help manage that, so that you weren't the one having to, mess around in the system blindly?
Trying to get into the funding, the presiding commissioners in the state of Missouri were the only ones authorized to get the funding.
Okay, gotcha.
Because we're the only ones that can sign contracts for the county.
Okay.
Presiding commissioners are the only people in the state of Missouri that can put the counties in indebtedness.
Okay.
That's why the presiding commissioners are the ones that had to go in and get these funding. Now, once we get it set up, we can have other individuals help us with it if we want. And that's where the other two commissioners came into it, and the former county clerk helped put together the application. We used an application very similar to what was out on the first round of money back in COVID, dealing with the CARES Act money. So the application we used was almost a duplicate of that.
Yeah.
And what that application was for was to verify the expenditures. They had to document what they were gonna use the funding for, and then go from there.
As far as you guys know, are you guys in compliance, with what the federal government put in place to allocate these funds? Are you guys in
Yes.
compliance with that?
Allocate the funds, yes. Now, before you get any further, I have been fighting with the Treasury Department for the last several months.
Mhm.
They have forms that we are supposed to fill out, was due of 22, 23, and 24, proof that we have spent the funds.
Mhm.
I finally got a hold of someone at Treasury. We got on, she's sitting there talking me through it,
Mhm.
got to the forms, opened the forms up, and all of a sudden my computer says time out. It timed me out, and I told her, she says, okay, you're gonna have to wait until later to go back in. Well, I haven't gone back in
And
again.
that's,
Tell
and
us
that's
when
the,
that
that's the
That's what I was gonna
document,
say, hold on, what was that? Well, we've been gone so many days this last week, it was at least 3 weeks ago,
okay, and that's the document of,
showing where the funding was
where
spent.
the funding went. Okay, well,
Now,
I
we
got
have
that,
all the documents.
I
I'm
got
waiting
that,
for the
I got that
government.
document,
Oh, you do?
and it took me less than 10 minutes to get.
How did you get it?
And did you say that the forms are supposed to be filled out in 22, 23, and 24, and you just went 3 weeks ago to fill the forms out? Is
I
that what
have
you
been
just said?
trying
Missouri
to,
Sunshine
listen,
Law, you can
I
get
have
anything
been
you want in
trying
5
to get
minutes.
into it, and the feds
That's not
see
hard.
that I'm trying to get into it.
So it's
They're
been 4
calling me
years
and
and you
saying-
haven't been able to get into it in 4 years? Oh, okay. That sounds like incompetence, but okay.
Isn't there an annual reporting requirement?
That's what we were trying.
That's
to
what we're
do.
not doing.
Yeah,
Yeah, there
That's
is.
what we decided to try 3 weeks ago to do for the last 4
Yeah,
years.
yeah. So 2022, 23, 24, and then obviously the following year, you're making the reports for the previous year,
Right,
yeah.
so.
so there's a report coming up due.
Yes, there is,
Well, there's
there is,
multiple
but
overages.
that's just to the measly amount of $61,000.
Yeah,
That's all that
yeah.
can be taken care of at this point. So,
And that's all that can be taken care of at this point because,
non-compliance, let me see.
Okay, I've got a question.
Yeah,
I
23
need
and
to make sure
24 are
we-
closed.
Yeah,
I need
that's
to,
what she told me when I told her.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
so
that's,
they
that's
released-
just $3 million.
they
We're
released the
closed.
funds to you in 21,
Yes.
and in 22, you were supposed to do a report to say where the money went, or what's that
If we
for?
had expended any money.
And had you?
Yeah, most certainly you have.
How much? How much in 22?
Didn't the coroner's office?
How much in
have money
22?
So in
Let's not
21?
receive.
$1,555,477.
And you didn't do a report in 22 to say where that money went?
Nope.
Or
Nope.
23 or 24.
And it's 25, and nobody did a report.
Yep, yep. The following year, $1,535,539.51.
I've got all the payments here. if you
So
want.
here's the big question.
Yeah,
What
yes,
happens now?
please.
Unreported, that hurts the county. Now, what happens if we're in non-compliance? I guess is the big question.
We're at risk of having to pay it back.
Yes.
And it's already administratively closed, is that what you just said? Or you, Tyler, just that there's 2 years that are closed?
23 and 24 are closed.
So if they're closed, we can't even go back and fix that?
No, we're
How
sitting
much
shade.
money is that?
That's a shade over $3 million. I mean, we're total, let me see, $3,152,674.73.
For 2 years. that are
Yes,
closed.
but we can still get rid of $61,000 of it
If we-
if we play
If
our
we
cards
make a
right.
report,
Out of $3+ million.
Yeah, I mean, so $60,000, guys, we can be in good shape if we get on the stick now after 4 years.
And that's a big deal.
So here's a question, Mr. Wheatley. Do you have the documentation necessary to be able to report for
Yes.
22 and
We got
23?
every application.
then why hasn't it been done? I mean, come on, if you can't get into a website from the federal government, there's helplines that you can call.
Who have
Every
I been
single
calling? That's
letter.
what they.
For 4 years?
They finally got me into the one that I needed to get into. Oh, they say, well, go to this line. So I go there and there's no.
Who is
documents in
they?
there.
Who is they?
So it's.
Who's they finally got you into it?
I'd have to go back and see who it was that I
We need to
contacted.
know, we need to know.
Okay.
So-
Can you understand the frustration that there was
You ought to be in
reporting?
my place trying to figure out how this stuff's gotta be recorded.
But there was reporting that was due in 2022,
Yep.
Right.
and you're telling us in 24, you're still trying to access the website?
And now it's 25.
I've got access to the website, I just can't get to the document that I need to transfer.
But hang on,
Because the
why
period's
weren't we
been
doing
closed.
that
You
in
waited too long.
22?
Do what?
Why weren't we doing that in 22 when the
I
reporting
was
was
trying to,
due?
ma'am. I got news for you. This is not the easiest thing to try to do. You guys think this is so simple.
It is,
Well, let's-
it's
Yeah,
very
I have an
simple.
ID&B account. It took me 30 seconds to create an ID&B account.
Yeah.
You said it took you 6 months to create an ID&B account. Who in here has an ID&B account? How long did it take you to make it?
About 2 minutes.
Yeah, so
Not
it
for
is that
you to order
simple.
it.
Yeah.
You're just not doing it.
Now,
So-
on your behalf, you're right. You know, filling out this paperwork, it is difficult. I've talked to other presiding commissioners in Missouri, and they've had the same problem. However, if you get on that hotline, there are people and representatives that will help you, but they will come here and help you fill that stuff out.
They wouldn't come here, cause I asked them, are you guys doing any local dues, doing things? He says, no,
If,
it's all online.
So they're helping everybody else but Bates County.
if you were trying so hard in the last 4 years, then why have you not replied to 93 emails helping you with links on every single one of them to help you get through this paperwork and reports?
Website.
93 emails.
Every time I go in to link on one, and I don't ink them all, I don't, because it's the same one. It goes right back to the same email, same website.
Did you ask anyone for help locally? I know it's your responsibility to
Well, the
do
thing
it.
is, I don't know who locally has access to ID&E, who has access to accounts.
You used Chad to get into it. So if Chad helped you get into it, why couldn't you ask him to help
He
you with it?
wasn't able to help me get into it.
And there's no
You just
third
told us
party.
that
Listen,
that's how you
I
got
said,
unavailable
he
for-
gave
you've
me a
been unavailable
card,
for
I
3
input
years
it, and it
to
said
help you get
duplicate.
into the
It didn't tell
system.
me
Is that
anything.
what I'm hearing?
Chad, you weren't willing to help with this at all?
I did, I provided my IT guy initially, have not had any requests after that, but I will say that I deal with federal government every day, I would have most definitely helped. But I think the problem is, what irritates me is, that picture right there shows it on the wall, 3 years of non-compliance.
Yeah.
93 emails, we're 12 days away from having to pay $3 million that this county does not have. And the whole time, in 22, 23, and 24, sir, you and your people have put me through the ringer with the state auditor's office. My employees were treated like crap, and you kept feeding them. Maybe if you would have not paid so much addiction to Chad and done your job, we wouldn't be in this spot. These people are mad because we don't have $3 million to pay the Treasury Department back, that we're gonna have to in 12 days.
What's the plan?
General revenue right now.
But I would have helped. I deal with the federal government every day. I would have not stopped in 4 years.
The auditors have audited and
So we don't even have the
found,
money to pay them.
No,
back.
we don't have the money. Bankrupt.
the
bankrupt.
auditors audited the county and
Yes, yes.
found in, what was that, end of 2022,
We paid for that audit.
that was an
We paid
independent,
$19,500 to have that
that
audit
was an
done.
independent audit.
That was in 2022. The audit states the county did not have adequate internal control over the program. The audit also stated the county neglected to adhere to the requirements, thus these costs may be disallowed.
And there's an
And there was a
And now it's
state audit,
2025 and we're still in the same boat.
there was a
Yeah.
state audit that was performed in
Is that the Daniel,
2024.
is that the
Yeah.
Daniel Jones?
No,
Yes.
that's the
That's what he's
dependent, I
talking
think.
No, that was.
But there was a
2024.
state audit also, and I went back through the clerk's, posts on Facebook, and that was addressed in April of, 2024, or August of 2024, and I'm not sure what measures you took to address either of those audits and the non-compliance concerns of those audits.
We answered each one of the complaints, every one of the audit findings. So I'd have to look back at the audit response to see what was.
You answered them but didn't move forward in any way.
Well, it seems like you keep saying you're trying, but also you just said earlier, you were 3 weeks ago on the phone call trying to fill out the forms, and your computer time, and you said, I haven't tried again since. Well, that was 3 weeks ago. I mean, it's also been, a matter of years, but even in that one example, what have you done for 3 weeks then, besides getting on your computer to do it? I mean, at some point, something has to be done and not just sat around and.
Well, it
just
sounds
in
like he tried
non-compliance.
once 3 weeks ago.
Yeah,
So, I mean,
in 5
he
years, I
tried.
tried once 3 weeks ago,
That
and it didn't
doesn't
work.
answer 22, 23,
Well,
that's
in-
3 years ago.
In 2022, there were 18 emails received from the Treasury Department to this office. 12 were opened, 6 were unopened, and there was 0 responses per the county Gmail account.
Hey, can I have help? That'd be pretty easy.
That was in 2022.
You could
In
respond that.
2023, there were 28 emails received from the Treasury, 24 were opened, 4 were unopened, obviously those 4 weren't important. They might have been an offer to help
Probably just
with our
duplicates.
ongoing problems, right?
Actually, every single email has the offer to help.
And 0 responses from the county. Now, you tell me how we expect to get help from the federal government when we're not even responding to emails.
Do you guys share the same email?
Yes.
So you have access to it? John, do you have access to it?
Yeah.
And
So Ken Mooney had access to it as well? You guys share the same emails?
So what's
Were
going
you,
on?
were you worried at any point?
Listen, we're here for accountability. $3 million,
We don't have.
that ain't cool.
Yeah, I know that.
So what I wanna know, Mr. Wheatley, because you're the presiding commissioner, I wanna know what you're gonna do. Obviously, you ain't had a plan in 3 years. So what's the plan?
Incompetence, that's the plan.
I wanna hear the
Tell them what you
plan.
want to.
Yeah, we need to.
What's
know,
the plan?
We need to know your plan
How
right
we
now.
gonna get compliant?
When we get through with this meeting, I'll put everything aside and I'll go back into IDE and.
No, you haven't,
Well, no.
you
Why
haven't
would
been
we
able to do
trust
it
that?
for 4
Yeah,
years.
I mean,
How can we
obviously-
trust
yeah,
you?
You're not
Obviously,
gonna
your
be
word
able
is
to
not
use
good
it
enough.
today.
Hold on. Okay, I'm on a follow-up question.
It's that simple, just every side,
So,
everything inside the deal.
so if we don't pay our taxes with the IRS after a certain number of years, or we negate to file, the IRS sends you a demand letter, and that demand letter says, well, you haven't filed for X number of years, so now your opportunity to file is gone. Okay? That's what your email communications are saying from the Treasury Department.
Have we received
What I
a
wanna
letter?
know is, who's gonna be responsible for the $3 million? It ain't gonna be the taxpayers of Bates County. It falls right here in this office.
And it's our understanding the opportunity to settle those years is closed. There is no remediation for those years. Is that correct?
That I will find out.
I also wanna know.
You don't have to find it out. I did the legwork for you. I figured it out for you.
Just pull up the.
And we've probably done
the-
more of this
the last-
than you
pull
have
up
in the last
the
week.
last emails, it'll tell you,
And that's something you should know, like,
right.
right off the top.
All
of
I
your
can
head.
tell you is the county taxpayer shouldn't pay the brunt for any attorney fees, any litigation fees, or anything else associated with that mess. That's your responsibility. You're the acting presiding commissioner. You just said, I'm the only one that can sign these contracts. You wanted the responsibility, and you haven't handled it.
Jim, Bates County citizens deserve better. They really
Okay.
do. You should know that.
He does know that.
But does he
He
care?
doesn't care. 4 years, he hasn't cared. Unopened emails, he hasn't cared.
Did you understand when you requested these funds, that there's gonna be some pretty stringent requirements for the
Yes.
distribution and the reporting? Was there no plan in place for this report? Did we assign somebody to be responsible for the oversight of the program?
No, Jim wanted to do it all.
It's my understanding that under ARPA, you can hire somebody to do all of that once you have the application.
You could have allocated a committee to handle this for you.
We could have,
And could have
But you
appointed
didn't.
folks to administer it.
and it wasn't just Jim Wheatley saying that. We decided we would go ahead and keep those funds to try and give the funding back to the county. And that's what we did.
And where
Okay, but
has,
after
Now-
where
first
has the
year
money
it didn't
gone?
work, why wouldn't you
Did it go to the county?
Right.
It went to, you wanna know where all it went?
Yeah.
Yes, we wanna know.
absolutely.
We wanna know where it went.
The Hume Ministerial Alliance got money.
How much?
Adrian Rural Fire Department got 2 different sets of money. Public Water District number 6, number 2, number 5, number 3, the Butler Fair. Hold on, that's just part of it.
Have you requested any reporting from those entities?
Yeah, what did they do with the
On
funds?
how-
That's what we were talking this morning to do. We've got to put, oh, you wanna look at me kinda funny?
And the first funds.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, we're looking at you funny. We are.
This whole thing is funny.
Everyone in here
It's a
is.
joke.
This is ignorant.
It's a joke that's gonna bankrupt the county because the funds were handled improperly
Because we got a control issue.
by you.
The first funds distributed to these entities was when?
Hold on, let's go back.
I believe there was an
Wasn't,
entity that got it at the end of 2021 because it was a county office.
Yes, John.
How did my question would be, if Hacker was in charge of the very first money, CARES Act, how was he in compliance within just months before he left office?
And we're not 4 years later.
And I mean, I'm just asking, and I'd
Because-
also be curious, it's a kind of a two-part question, but definitely, how did Hacker become compliant so fast, but also,
If it was so
have
complicated.
we missed out on any funding because of being in non-compliance?
You will now.
We haven't missed out on funding due to being in non-compliance. We haven't.
Not that I know of.
Okay, what about LATCF?
What?
LATCF.
The funding for, tribal money.
Right, right. So what would that have done for our county? Cause you applied for it, so you had to have had a plan on what that would have done.
We got 1 set of funding, we didn't get the 2nd set. We still haven't figured out why we didn't get the 2nd set.
You got the second set because it stated in the email, you're in non-compliance for the ARPA funds.
There's probably one that wasn't opened.
It said that you did not receive the funding because you were not in compliance with ARPA.
But you just lied and said there's been no funding. We
But
haven't
that was
received.
also a pretty difficult email to find. It took me a long time to find that.
Okay, 'cause
Well, there's
I-
one of them.
Yeah, there's a ton.
I do know as a guy that writes grants pretty often, anytime we're non-compliant with any federal grant reporting, we are exempt from. Ineligible from future grants, so that's kind of why I'm here, is because it does affect us, and if we have to pay $3 million, I'm gonna have to look at my 50, 60 employees in the eye and say, which one of you guys gotta go?
Okay, hang on, back up just a second. Did I understand that correctly? Because the county is non-compliant, you are now ineligible for
So
grants?
when we write a grant, we actually write it on behalf of the county for the sheriff's office, so anytime the county is non-compliant, if I'm not compliant with reporting to the state of Missouri for their required reporting, then they make me ineligible for grants, so I do see where this could affect grants, not just for the whatever
For
they
water
say.
departments and whatever, you're now
For
telling
any
us you
county
can't.
government,
Any
water
county
departments
government.
are their own government, the county
Everybody-
government, it does affect our ability to write grants.
Right, like a dump truckload of gravel,
So that would
anything.
affect FEMA money, if we were to be able to have FEMA money?
I don't know the answer to that, but I just know that non-compliance in these events are affecting other, do have a possibility to affect other grants. So since this wasn't necessarily a grant, it was a special fund, I don't know, but, I just wanted to add that.
So it affects everyone in the county.
So, Mr. Whately, I think it's probably advisable that we have somebody
Immediately.
other than you, work as quickly as possible to complete the reporting for this year for the $61,000.
When's it due by?
15.
March 15th.
I think the issue moving forward, and I think
You
I
just
speak for
told me
myself at least,
That
March
was
15th.
The distribution of it.
we don't trust you to get it done at this point, I think is the issue, and so we are requesting that someone be appointed to do that. Because you're saying that you'll set everything aside and go do it, but it's been multiple
4
years,
In 4
and
years.
nothing's been done, so there's not a lot of trust between the county and you at this point.
You swore an oath to this county and have done nothing in 4 years.
That's
So-
not true.
I'm gonna remind you there that all three commissioners had access.
You also
To the
swore an
email.
oath and didn't care. You didn't. You flat out didn't.
Okay, would you be willing to stay over after this meeting and let's get this done? Since you have access to ID me and know how to.
I'm
use the
willing to do
website?
anything to not bankrupt our county.
Okay,
I'm a mechanic, but I'll figure it out. I mean, looks like we got a lot of people in here willing to help.
Yeah, that's why we're all here.
Well, when were you made aware of?
You got access to it, and I know you got access to it, so would the two of you, or did one or the other of you?
How about you?
Let's hear it.
How about
And I'll
you?
be here too.
You will?
So
I'll
then you
get
can take
into
all
it,
the
you guys
credit
find
if
it.
it's- I think
In
the
other
number
words, you gotta
one
do his
question
word
though
for
is
it.
what,
Yeah.
is
Is what he's
there a
getting.
pathway for what's been closed? Cause
That's
we're
what I wanna
liable
find
for
out from
3
these people.
million plus right now because those reporting periods are closed.
Can I find out from those people?
And the
Yes,
county's
please.
been told
Now
that
this,
that money's
I
due on
can't
the
swear to this,
15th?
I've been working on the
Or
senior
that's-
tax
They have
credit.
Just
until the
another-
15th to report.
Reporting is due by
But
the
not
Then they have
on
another 6
21
months.
and 22.
I believe they have another 6 months
those are
then
closed.
to pay all
Those are
that back.
closed,
Yeah.
so have you been told we want our money back for those years by such and such a date?
There's
Yes.
been no demands?
Yeah.
The demand came on a letter of January 15th.
Stop. Quit lying. Quit lying. There's your letter. I've got treasury contacts. Shows where Jim Wheatley opened this. You viewed this. You just said you haven't been contacted. Quit lying. Tell these people the truth.
Amen.
They deserve it. You tell me to be transparent with our county citizens and be honest. It's the same treasury department, SLFRF,
Yes.
that you can look at. I pulled it up last week. It took me less than 5 minutes to get in there without an ID me. Viewed by Jim Wheatley, January 15th, and you just told them.
Is that a
Anybody else?
letter?
That's the letter stating
That's
that
the
we're
letter.
in non-compliance.
Just pass it along.
That gives the deadlines for this.
Yeah.
Not to
When the money-
mention 2
when the money
years,
is
like
supposed
you
to be
guys
paid
have
back.
said, is
Money that we
already
don't have.
administratively closed.
Is it deadlines for reporting or deadlines for repayment?
That's a deadline for January 15th. I printed it off of my computer last week. That's a deadline from January 15th that says you have by April 30th of each year to comply.
Right.
The next email that they sent me was to, and it went to all of us, is that you are administratively closed for the first 2 years because of non-compliance. The money, the funding we could have received, I have no idea how much. I know it would be way up in the tens of thousands at least. I know there's at least 2 emails that talk about a temporary close, and then later in the day it says you're out, you're non-compliant, you don't get this funding. So our county's already missed out on a lot of funding. It's hard for me to sit here and listen and not say anything. And I know this, you guys set up the meeting and you want to, it's hard for me to not be transparent with the citizens of Bates County.
That's why we elected you.
This is egregious. This is wrong. there is no reason why in 4 years, out of 3 commissioners, that this could not be complied with.
And if you would not have been elected, it would have just smacked us in the face.
That's exactly right. Mrs. Bohannon just said, if I hadn't
Not
been
this
elected, would anybody know any of this?
No, we
Would
weren't-
anybody know?
No.
So why can't our commissioners be transparent with their counties? Why can't we just be honest?
What if
You
we-
sat right there in that chair and told me I need to be transparent and honest.
What if we weren't here today? What if no one showed up for any of this? Would you have done anything?
You have till the 15th.
No,
It's been 5 years.
he
I mean,
did
are you
ask.
you're just willingly bankrupting
And
us?
I do wonder what else is
Yeah, I
that
mean, is,
intended for.
He did ask us first thing this morning if Nelson and I would like to work on catching up on some of the ARPA
because he saw
stuff,
the agenda
getting
for
with
today and got nervous.
who it was sent to.
Yeah, yeah.
When's the end of your term? When's the end of his term?
When is the end of your term?
When's the end of his
I
term?
didn't see the agenda.
2 years.
So I didn't get notice.
Okay.
We've got 2 years left of him working in that position.
But when something like this has come out, is there an impeachment process? Is there something where he has to step down?
I'm gonna call the state attorney's office and find out.
Would you be willing to step down so we can get somebody
He could
competent
most
in your
willingly
position?
resign.
No, I would.
Today.
Here to get done what needs to be done.
You
Yes,
haven't
but
got
we
it
need,
done.
we need someone
You've been
to
here
do
for
your
years
job
and
because
you
you're
haven't
not
done it,
doing
so stop
it.
saying I'm gonna get it done. We don't trust you, we don't believe
Your
in
word
you,
is good
and
for
we don't
nothing.
want you in office because you've been incompetent and shown yourself incompetent over the years.
Your word is nothing.
And now the city's, or the county's gonna be bankrupt because of your incompetence, directly because of that. You said, I'm the only one that could've done it. Oh, it's not been done. And then you blame it on, oh, it's so hard to get on there. Figure it out.
What the
That's
citizens
your
are
job.
seeing that all of your time has been spent squabbling with the other departments in the county instead of doing your
That's all
job.
we've seen you do. We've not seen you do anything productive other than bankrupt our county and argue with other people.
This email from the Treasury Department, the way I read it, dated January, whatever it was, of 2025, says that to avoid the entire $3 million penalty, you have 60 days to get compliant, which puts it around the middle of March. Today's the 3rd or 4th. And even given the opportunity to, go back and get it straightened out, still less than 2 weeks away, are we
Haven't reached out.
thinking
haven't-
about getting started? I mean, that's,
It says right here that this $3,141,221 is due to the treasury by May 15th of 2025.
if we get compliant by March.
No, that is if we receive the notice on January 15th and decline to submit either the required report or request for reconsideration by March 16th, then we have to pay it by May 15th.
So, Mr. Wheatley, are you refusing to step down and let somebody in office that would handle this, and you're gonna continue to sit there and do nothing? Is that, are we understanding that correctly?
I said that if.
To avoid all of it.
No, I'm talking, are you willing to step down as commissioner because you bankrupted our county?
We aren't asking you to step down. We are telling you, we
We're
want
tired of
you
it.
to step
Yeah,
down.
we can
Yes.
start a petition, we'll figure out what steps need to be taken, because we don't want our county bankrupt because you refuse to do anything.
Trent, you've idly sat there too, so keep that in mind. You haven't done anything as well.
I mean, in most places, when you get something like this and a normal job and you don't reply and you don't get it done, you're
You lose
fired.
your job.
You're done.
Because you didn't do it.
And you've had numerous emails and numerous chances to do it, and you've just sat there and done nothing, and it's unacceptable.
And we don't deserve to have to deal with it.
You guys have
But
told
we
our
are-
township for 3 years to maintain roads illegally. I have fought with you guys for 3 years, and it wasn't until I came in here and made you guys call the attorney that we finally got somewhere. They're not roads on the map, there's no easements, and it wasn't until we called that attorney 3 years later that I got somewhere. You guys campaigned and you told the people in that meeting we were down at Trent's, they'll grade them anyway. We can't, it is illegal. And it's taken 3 years to even get the process started.
So to her point, what else is out?
It's incompetence in every aspect.
What else is not?
What have you done other than take the money, not pay it back, and then fight with other departments? What have you done as commissioner?
So bottom line, if we can get our ass in gear and get this turned in time, there's a chance that we don't have to pay back the $3
No,
million.
just 60,000 of it.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
Well,
the
the
rest
entire
is
3
done.
million.
Well, wait,
It says.
I started to say.
Oh, yeah, go, yes, sir.
Yeah,
ahead,
you
yeah.
can go ahead.
I've been working on the senior tax cut for 2 years, so
I've been removed from any of this discussion, but it seems to me that when this started, if you gave it to water, sewer, or internet, you didn't have to report that money or keep track of it, but you probably had to turn in that you did.
There's an annual.
So there may be forgettable on that part of it.
If any of that money went to those things.
We had some
But we don't know that they're gonna, in non-compliance, they're gonna say, you owe us that money. I don't know.
Didn't the email say that?
threatening it. I mean,
Well, the longer we wait, the more assured it's going to be.
Did we get receipts from all these entities yet?
That's what we were talking about this morning, to go ahead and.
So
put
that's
out.
a no.
So yes or no, did we
They
get
haven't-
it?
they haven't even asked
No,
them
you
yet.
don't have them, okay.
They haven't
Thank
asked
you.
it, we don't have receipts.
That was my
That's
question.
a good follow-up.
Several minutes ago, the first money was dispersed to the entities in 2021, and we've never asked for a reporting from any of them?
I
We're
think,
required to.
Prayer.
The reporting for that was not required until this year.
So just because we're not, I mean, with my own budget, when I give money to places, I keep a receipt. So you're telling me with the county, since we weren't required to keep a receipt of the millions of dollars we gave out, we just didn't keep track of where our money went? Because we weren't required to.
well, it's not his
So it's
money.
incompetence.
It's our money.
We don't need
Right.
to keep receipts of where we
We
give money.
know, he knows where the monies were dispersed to, the entities within the county. The entities within the county are supposed to be keeping receipts on how they're spending those disbursements.
So when we
So
request those
he can
receipts back,
request those,
those will
but
be.
have you
included.
never
Part of
requested
your-
that?
Yeah, you've had 4 years to request those back.
And now that
Yeah.
we're within 2 weeks
It's
of.
not the entity's fault.
No,
The
no,
cities, the
No, was
rural
not saying
fire
that.
departments,
no,
it's
it's
not their
saying,
fault.
agreed.
But you had a chance once a year to get this reporting done and just passed it on by.
It wasn't
didn't
just-
ask for
it
people's
was
help.
required annually.
It was his job.
Yeah.
There's
There were
been zero
required
effort.
But he says he
annual
wants to
reports.
continue doing it.
Zero.
But he's not doing it.
Please step down so we can get somebody in there that can do the job.
I'm not gonna step down. I'm gonna work with the people.
You're gonna
that-
bankrupt
You're not gonna work with nobody.
Is it your intent to bankrupt us?
No,
Then why are you
Then why
doing it?
haven't you worked at it? If
It's not
you,
much of a
if you
legacy.
had been trying, you couldn't have done it better.
Hell, just trying, that would be improvement.
Gotta care to try.
Well, in Jim's defense, I can't say that he sat here for 4 years and done absolutely nothing.
You kept the seat warm.
That he might have dropped the ball on this,
Just a little bit.
but I'm just saying that, you know, when we look at the whole picture, I don't really think it's fair to say that he's done absolutely nothing. You know, he
Just
has
on
come
this,
in
yeah.
when he's supposed to be
He
here.
did fight with Chad.
He's audited
There's-
the hell out of the
there-
sheriff's office.
I'm just saying, you know,
I mean,
I
but
wanna believe that he did
But
something.
what
He did talk
positive
about our
has he
internet
done
being
for this
garbage.
county?
Oh, yeah, there's
But then he gave no money to support that.
If he would audit himself as hard as he's auditing
Tell
other
us
people.
what you've positively done for our county in the last 4 years.
He already asked that, didn't get an answer.
Please tell us.
no matter what I say, you guys have already got your minds made up, so.
I mean,
But I
Chad,
wanna
it's
answer
hard
Chad,
not
hold
to.
on, I wanna answer Chad just a minute. Chad?
You wanna
We got Chad-itis.
question.
No, he did, he made a comment a while ago. I did nothing to get you involved in the auditor here. That was someone else that blew a whistle to come inspect your.
Yes,
operation.
Chad,
Not
you're-
me.
I think you were right the first time you did, you did
I
not.
think John was right, he just needs to stop.
I
lying.
think,
No, you can say.
You
all
say
you
no,
want.
you're not gonna stop lying? You're gonna stop lying, no.
We've read
Let me-
the meeting minutes and seen the snips and the jabs and the
Yeah,
totally
you'll see that stuff,
unprofessional
but I did
behavior.
not sit the auditor's office on Chad, someone else did.
No, but you have a
So-
vendetta against him.
so let me ask you, Jim, is there a file that you've kept on invoices that you've not agreed with? By statutory, that I have authorization once my budget is set, that you have kept and quote unquote, or wrote Post-its on, that said, this is for the auditor, make sure they are able to find it. Now, listen, I'm transparent, I'll tell everybody wherever I spend the dollar, whether you like my horses or not, I've always put the people first, I'll be very clear with that. But the whistleblower received those invoices from this county commission so that the whistleblower could do the work that you tried to do. You went to the prosecutor to get me removed because I supported youth programs when we don't have the staff to go be part of those youth programs, so we supported it financially. so that they know their local law enforcement supports them. It's called community-oriented policing. It's a big thing, has been for 20 years now. So we're trying to be a part of that. So you're you sitting there telling me right now, that you did not provide the whistleblower with the necessary invoices to bring that?
I didn't provide the whistleblower, I provided it for the auditors if they needed it.
So you can provide information for that, but you can't provide information about our funds. So when it comes to that, it's easy.
But let's go, let me finish, I get it. So Jim, all I'm saying is, in 2025, I made a pledge to the citizens, to the new commissioner, that I would come over and turn a page and get along and cooperate and talk with you guys and try to do stuff that you expect that I don't statutorily have to do. But because it's for the people. I have offered to help with this. I think the thing that irritates me the most and why I'm worked up is because I feel like 2.5 years, my employees have went through pure hell at the hands of this commission who continues to feed the auditor. It's been 2.5 years. And the auditors didn't give a crap about that because it was the private auditor company was looking into it. Well, why does the state not do it? Why hasn't the state set you down and said, you haven't done this for 4 years?
August 2024, according to the Bates County clerk's post, the state auditors did ask him about that, but he has not complied.
The best years of my career is when the sheriff's office worked closely and collectively with the county commission.
Absolutely.
It didn't matter whether they were Republican or Democrat. It can be done, and it hasn't been done for 12 years. And so in 2025, I said, I'm gonna bite the bullet. And I think, Trent, you've seen a difference. You've made the comments. You know, I think I was here personally when you asked Jim, are we compliant? Are you sure we were compliant with this? And you got a yes answer. I don't know. I'm frustrated because I know that the only fund Bates County has that's got the kind of money to pay this back is law enforcement. And I think law enforcement is something that needs to be secured in Bates County, and this doesn't secure Bates County law enforcement. We have to be fiscally sound, we have to make sure that people are safe, and we've gotta work for what the people want in the beginning. I'm still willing to sit down with John, or anybody to spend the next 3 weeks trying to get this done. But I don't know that I can if you're gonna attack me continually. So, and Jim, nobody in this community doesn't believe that we aren't at odds, and that's my 2 cents. But
I will say one thing about, you're talking about the auditors. Our audit is just about to come back. I'm in close contact with the auditors probably 4 or 5 times in the last week. Our state audit, or from the state auditors, is about to come back. And in that, they will tell you again that we are in non-compliance.
I thought the state audit come back in January. Chad's audit is the one that's the only one that's out. Remember, I got my special one.
No, this
why we
is,
glazed over this, or how we paid family members to put glass things up in violation of the Hatch Act or the nepotism rule. But that was again ignored by the auditors when we provided. I can't. I'm done. It's been 16 years I've dedicated to this county to make it financially better. The sheriff's office is the reason why this county has any money. And we have been attacked for the last 12, and it's been ramped up in the last 4 years. Something's gotta change. And I've been willing to try that. But we gotta quit lying and covering our butts and get this done and move forward. That's my 2 cents.
Exactly.
We need somebody new that we can trust.
Yep.
We can't do this for 2 more years. You're not gonna be able to get any funding for our county.
Yeah, that's the big problem. I mean, it's a grade wolf, and we can't trust that you can get this done because you haven't got this done.
Do you have $3 million you wanna hand over?
No.
Okay.
You don't want to step
Well,
in
you got,
and pay, you don't, I mean,
yeah, I mean, what's your solution?
Like I said, if the 2 of you want to work with me, we'll.
So if somebody else will do your job.
Two of you can
So
do
you
your
want
job.
somebody else to come in and do your job?
Are you on the payroll?
You made the mess, why don't you clean it up yourself either?
Hold on, it is specific to the presiding commissioner.
You're the only one with the
Not the northern or
ID.
the southern. Everything is specific to you handling this,
You said
and
that
you
yourself.
haven't done it.
Okay.
So can you fix it yourself?
I'll do everything I can, and if
You,
not, then
you
I'll.
haven't.
You
So
can't.
you're gonna bankrupt us first before you
No,
step
I will not
down.
be. I will do
Yeah.
everything I can to keep from bankruptcy.
No.
Sounds like it's 32 late.
Yeah.
I
You
don't
need,
think
you
she's
need,
About 90 emails
you
to
flat
you.
out need to go. You do. Swallow your pride and step away. Let us fix this, because it has to be fixed.
Yeah, I know it does.
Okay?
No one else should have to fix it.
Accountability. I want to report in 2 weeks where we are.
Yeah, but
Progress.
In
it-
2 weeks, we'll already be bankrupt.
Okay, a week.
It has to be done like
So
by
we
Friday.
there's gotta be some accountability here.
Sure.
The citizens of this county, $3 million worth, deserve accountability. So, I don't care if you give the information in writing to Mr. Mauger, to post publicly, or whether we have another meeting.
I say we do this again in a week, cause I don't
Let's
want it
do
to be, it's not we come in here, we all get mad, we leave, and everything goes back to normal. Like you say, there has to be accountability to make
We
sure we
gotta
move
know, the
forward
citizens of
successfully.
Bates County deserve to know what's going on and that progress is being made.
But we're down to the wire in the break. It has to
Yeah.
happen.
Well, the wire's already broke on multiple years.
Yeah.
There's,
So we're just talking about $60,000 he can fix if he tries real hard.
Well,
And finally ask for
I
help.
have found in cases of the IRS that if you make a mistake, and it's only happened one time, that there are forgiveness clauses in some of the regulations. Let's just hope and pray.
This is
IRS.
willful neglect.
I know, but it's a government agency. Let's hope that maybe there's some way that we can get a hold of somebody that knows enough that can get us through this process and maybe allow us to file those back reports.
Then who's gonna take the lead on this? Cause somebody's gotta reach out to the treasury right now.
Well, it's his job.
It's
No,
his
no, no,
job.
no. We've already determined he's not gonna do it. So my question is, who, besides you, Mr. Wheatley, is going to take the lead on
John,
this?
would you be responsible
And
for
try to
that?
remedy this?
I hate to
John,
put
would
you
you
on the
do
spot.
something that you were
Why
elected
should-
to do and it's not your job, but the person that was elected to do it won't do it? and he
John,
won't
will you
step
clean
down?
up the mess?
And he won't step
Our
down, but he'll let
supervisor's
you do his
cleaning up the
job.
mess.
Can we help you clean up the mess?
Somebody decide for sure.
Cause
And if
nobody
that-
else wants
If
to.
that
I-
means
I
reaching
will-
out to a third party,
I would
someone
be
that does
willing.
this professionally, whatever it takes, but somebody's gonna take the lead on this right now.
I would be willing to work on it. I will tell you, I'll probably need plenty of help with that. My greatest concern is, here you haven't done this for 4 years. 3 commissioners haven't done it for 4 years. The commissioners prior did it in a matter of months. Here, we're just gonna cover your butt and take care of this and go on.
So
I know
what's
that
the-
that's gonna
I got a
happen.
question.
I
Do you
think
think,
that's wrong.
do you think that the previous commissioner that was super successful in filing these reports on time would be willing, out of the greatness of his heart and the love for his county, to come back and perhaps help us?
I have talked to him. He has been treated maybe not so nice in some ways,
Yeah,
by
Yeah, that's a common
certain
trend.
people.
seems to be a lot of friction in
I
this
don't-
office.
I don't know that he would be, willing to. I could possibly talk to him. I do know that in the emails, there's always 3 to 5, maybe 6 different avenues for Zoom training, Zoom meetings,
And the 93,
YouTube.
4 or 5 emails?
phone numbers,
Website.
personal
number.
contact. I know that I've looked at all the emails you're talking about. I've seen them all. I've spent hours and hours.
Because you
reading.
have access to them now, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, they're all on they're all on the email.
okay.
All 3 of you have access to
Same emails.
the same emails?
Yes.
Yes.
And is there anybody getting emails at home?
Yes.
And why would anybody be
And why?
getting government business emails on a personal unsecured computer?
I,
It shouldn't be.
I don't know. The only ones that look personal to me go to Jim at Embark.
So
So
Mr.
Jim gets emails that are government emails to his personal email at home.
Mr. Gray.
It's not a commissioner email, so I'm assuming it's his personal, yes.
Mr. Gray, to your knowledge, you said these emails give multiple avenues for training and resources and Zoom meetings. To your knowledge, has anyone taken advantage of these resources?
In Mr. Wheatley's defense, he has talked to one lady And it was on the LATCF trying to get more money. Other than that, and we were denied egregiously. Other than that, I can't confirm other than what he tells us that he's talked to.
Because we can believe what he tells us for sure.
But there's been zero response to over 92 emails. Or
As near as I can tell, yes.
Emails and
I mean,
other communication.
So, Mr. Wheatley, other than the last 3 weeks, have you attempted these Zoom trainings, any of these other resources prior to the last 3 weeks?
No.
Have you? Okay.
There are tons of avenues. And there's also people in the county that have come forward and said, hey, I will help you with this. We can get this resolved quick, but I want his resignation. I can't
So you're
tell
telling me
anybody
everyone
he'll
that's willing to
resign.
help is so disgruntled with him that the only way to get us out of this is for him to not be here?
Some of the people that wanna help have told me that, yes.
Okay.
But I don't expect them to help. I mean, I don't.
We can't. They're not getting paid for it.
If there's no resignation, then they're not gonna help. I'm gonna have to put it together a different team to work on this.
So what does Jim Wheatley have to say?
I want to say something about the issue with Larry Hacker. When we got the CARES funding, there was a company overseeing it because the money came from the state.
Well, you said you had an option to put a company on this one, but refused to. You decided you wanted to do it yourself, you said.
Yeah, but the state put this company over it.
My question in
Hold on,
particular
hold
is
on.
So that,
Every question you're trying to talk about somebody else. What's about what you've done, what do you have to say? Not about Larry Hacker, not about Chad.
go
What
ahead,
about you?
Jim, cause I wanna know the difference in why we were compliant there and we're not now.
With that company, Larry was able to get with the company that was monitoring how these forms were to be filled out. Larry found out exactly how to fill them out. When Larry was removed from office, I contacted the company and I finished out the last of those forms. The company showed me how to do them so I could input all the information so we stayed compliant with the whole thing. Larry had got it to that point when he left, I was able to pick it up from that company and move it forward. The company was monitoring the whole process. This one, there's nobody other than the federal government looking down saying, give it a
So you're saying you need to be.
The-
Then why did you take the funds if we couldn't do it? We had the option to take the funds, didn't we? We didn't have to take
If
the
we
funds.
knew the requirements for receiving the funds, why were you not prepared to administer the
Well-
program correctly?
How many days?
Hang on, I want him to answer that.
Okay.
I hadn't looked into it to see how far we had to go with it.
I wanna eat tonight.
Do what? Sorry.
I said, I had not looked into it to see what was needed to follow up in the following.
In 4 years.
Give me money and I don't care about the strings attached to it.
God, what a
That-
nice
that's what it
world that
boils
would be
down
if
to.
we
No,
could
we
live
had
in that.
accountability, and so we did what we had to make sure there was an accountability flow of the money.
No, sir, you didn't.
You don't have any
You
receipts
didn't
or
do the
anything.
required reporting.
No, you did
You
not.
are not claiming accountability.
Why are we non-compliant if you've done it?
Do you not see the issue
You
here?
can't lie to us.
Can not you say you just dropped the ball?
Okay, I dropped the ball in not following up to provide the information to the government.
You dropped
Following up.
you dropped a $3 million
It'd be
ball.
like you didn't file your taxes for 4 years. It'd be
It's a
just
big
like
ball.
that. If you ever get audited, God help you, you know, from the
But he's
IRS.
been
person.
audited multiple
Yeah,
times
well,
Okay.
and still did not comply.
We've paid $20,000 to be told
We're not
we're
compliant.
dumb.
No.
I mean,
No,
honestly.
we're not dumb.
We are not in compliance.
Yeah.
And still didn't
That
pick
was on
it
the
up.
CARES Act, wasn't it, that 19,000, like 22? and they
19,000,
saved money
yeah, it was
on-
19,500 flat.
Quote me if I'm not wrong, they saved
That's
money
the
on the CARES
independent
Act
one.
for that audit of that CARES Act, I think that's what that was.
Yes.
Do you file your taxes, your personal taxes, Mr. Wheatley?
Yeah.
And
just
I
like everybody
am,
else.
okay, so you understand the federal government's requirements of being in compliance. Why did you choose to remain non-compliant with the county's funds?
That's a great great question. I would
Unable
like
to
to know.
unable to find where I need to put the documentation. I know what funds need to be put in, but I don't know how to get into it.
So once
No matter how I
once
try.
again.
Then why did you choose to not reach out to additional resources to get the help in the
On the
compliance?
emails, when they come, they have a location to contact them, that's what I did. And the go ahead.
Why are you saying, I don't know how to do this job, which is what you're saying, you're saying my job is to put these things in, I don't know how to do it, but at the same time, you're saying, but I wanna keep doing it, I don't wanna step down. You're admitting that you don't know how to do it, and that you haven't gotten help, but yet you still wanna do it.
If you're not doing the job
If,
right,
she's a teacher, if she goes, it's like, I don't know how to teach a classroom, guess what?
She probably won't have a job.
So why are you sitting here saying, I don't know how to do my job, but I want my job?
and I'm not
Because
gonna
we're
step
paying
down
him to
from my
sit
job
there.
because I don't know how to do it.
We're paying him to sit there and do
And
nothing.
now you'll get it
And
done.
what would you have done if this didn't happen? We'd have just let it go out to March 15th and then the citizens would have paid it all back and
That's a good.
it would have just gone hush hush under the rug and you'd have just kept walking around town like you're hot shit.
Nobody in this office would have a job. The sheriff's department would be underfunded. There goes our law enforcement. What else goes out the window with no county funding?
Gravel.
For how long? For how many years?
Any maintenance. It would take us years to dig out of this hole.
Can you see the arrogance in your attitude that I deserve to remain in this position? In light of your failure over the last several years? Can you not see the attitude you're bringing to the citizens of this county? That I will remain here. Have not done the job, I'm not capable of doing the job, but I refuse to let someone else do it.
If you can't do the job, you need to step down. That's just the way it is.
Mrs. Bohannon, are you up for nomination?
I'll think on
A
it.
couple of years ago, somebody else tried.
Yeah.
Can you see our frustrations, sir?
Yes, I do.
So what are you gonna do about it?
No matter what I say, you're not gonna be happy, so.
We just
We'll
want
be
to know
happy
what
if
are
you
you
say
gonna do,
you'll
what's your
step down.
plan?
We'll be happy if you
Get
step
into
down.
this
Yeah.
week and get
Yeah.
it taken care of. Like he was talking about, he wants to have a report by the end of the, like you said, 2 weeks, but I'll have it by the end of this week.
Yeah, we better do
Where
something.
So do we
at?
wanna do
What
this
doing?
next
We're
Monday
gonna
and see where
have,
we?
next
see where we
Monday,
go?
we're gonna meet here
John,
then.
what do you have to say?
Same place, same time?
I have a question.
I was gonna say,
And I
tell us
just
what
wanna-
the
I'm trying to
community wants,
understand
what
something.
you're asking him to do.
What do all of us want? What do we want?
Step down.
Resignation.
Resignation.
And then let's,
Yeah.
no, go ahead, Chad. Let him answer and go
Chad
ahead.
has something to say.
Yeah, no.
But I'm there, and we're ready.
The governor can appoint a new commissioner.
It shouldn't have to come to that. You should be able to say, I've failed.
I'm
Next,
sure
from
the other
what I
commissioners
understand,
would
if he was
accept
to
your
resign,
resignation.
the county
I can hand
judge
you a piece of
appoints
paper
the
and a
new
pencil,
commissioner
and you can
until
write
his
out a
term is up.
resignation, sir.
Okay.
I think the county and you could part ways amicably if you would just resign and we could get somebody in there that could do it.
Chad?
Oh, I stepped in at the wrong time. You guys are on a different page than I was, so
Go ahead.
I'm just saying that I wanted to clarify. The county can account for where the money is because we have a list of entities. But I think ARPA requires those people to say how they spent the money and report back to the commission.
Yes.
My question is, how do we know that those entities spent the money in the way that it was required to by ARPA without any oversight? And has that been done appropriately?
None of the programs
Do we
have been done
need
appropriately.
an outside entity, not mine, I'm obviously, probably not the right guy, but do we need an outside law enforcement agency to come in and account for those dollars? Does the citizens of Bates County want that accountability by law enforcement? If so, I will request an outside entity to come in and work with each of those agencies that got money to make sure that that money has not been, sent somewhere else, and it was spent in accordance with the ARPA fund, and then if not, then the county could take actions to recoup that from those entities that agreed to that. But at some point, like I said, I was on a different page than what you guys were, so I took this train in a different direction. Somebody's gotta step up and do that. I don't think my agency is the one to do that.
I agree.
But I can send out a request and ask for another agency to send investigators in to look at where that money is and see where that, at least come back and say, here, your money was spent how they said they were in the ARPA, applications, and regardless of whether we have to pay it back at this point or not, we still wanted it accounted for.
I think in light of our non-compliance, we need to start defending ourselves that it was spent appropriately, even if it was not reported appropriately. So personally, I think that would be to start building our defense, because we're gonna have to recover from this.
That's probably a good point.
So different train tracks than what you guys were on, step back out here.
So back to Mr. Wheatley,
If Chad,
what are you
if
thinking?
Chad wants to do that, I have no objection to it, because we have nothing to hide, the money's been spent equally. So if you wanna do that, go for it.
I think we need to start
I
defending
think that's,
ourselves.
I think that's a different creature than what you guys were talking about when I stepped back in the room.
It is.
I think regardless of whether there's a resignation or whatever, we still have to move forward and account for that money, make sure those
Yes.
entities spend the money. I
Yes.
think that's what you guys are somewhat saying at different times. And you want that accountability. We can bring a law enforcement agency to do that, make sure that's being spent right. I would
The
probably have-
presiding commissioner agreed,
Will
so
we-
I'd say we do it.
I don't need the commission's permission to investigate a potential crime, but I appreciate your willingness to provide what we're gonna
Yeah,
ask for
because
of you guys.
they don't have anything to hide.
I would not ask an agency to spend somebody
I
for
think
months.
it's step one in cleaning up the mess.
And silly
But-
question, but like,
yes.
what would the timeline be on something like that with the
Well,
time crunch though? I mean, that can't be done.
We're gonna be at the mercy of the entity, like the water departments, to be able to say, this is where my $280,000 you gave me. The city of Butler is gonna have to provide it, the city of Adrian and all those municipalities that also got ARPA funds, but then got more from the county. Will have to be able to show that their ARPA funds went here, our ARPA funds went here, and here's the receipts. We wanna see the receipts, but again, that's a different page than what
So
you guys are.
individual cities did also get ARPA funding?
Every government
Yeah.
body in the state, in the United States.
Well, I asked about that earlier, cause I was
I didn't
confused
know
why,
that.
you know, Rich Hill got 250,000.
The city of Butler got
Adrian did.
800,000,
Yeah.
the city of Adrian
For
got
what?
600,
Yeah.
something
So
like
they've
that.
all done their reporting?
Butler
So we
spent
could have
it on,
asked these people to help us
inclusive
file this reporting?
I don't know.
That's a
And
good
they also
question.
don't.
I didn't think that they, I didn't think that they were
Not from here.
This is the first I've heard that the city's got ARPA funding.
Oh, you didn't even know that?
Come on.
No, because we kept talking about it, but how did they get it?
How much did you send to Butler? Almost 300,000 to the city of Butler?
They supply 4 water districts.
It went right to the city of
Well-
Butler.
You're saying that they got it directly from the feds.
They got their own money from the feds, is what they're saying.
He didn't,
And then
re-
this,
he didn't
you
realize
give
they
them money
could.
also.
City of Adrian.
There we
They put a
go.
new pump out in the Grand River. 32,000.
City of Butler, $285,900.
Yeah.
And all those
Because they
applications had
supply
3
water
years
to
in
water
the
districts
form
1,
and
3, 5, and 6.
It's all well and good, but this deadline coming up, just, I can't get over it. I mean, I'm not sensing a real sense of urgency here that, you know, we need to be doing that and not, you know, this group here, I think, has another goal. But maybe it's 2 different goals. I don't know what the procedure is to pursue that. But, you're unwilling to go along with that desire. But to me, the main thing is let's start meeting some deadlines and
Yeah, we gotta have extensive communication with the Treasury Department and
Somebody
see
will-
what kind of avenues we have as far as if we have an ability. We're okay on the 61,000, but what we need to figure out is we got an avenue or an ability to reopen those forms so that we
That's
can,
right,
so
but
that
that
we can
deadline
comply
is
with the reporting for the
March
for the
15th.
2 years that didn't
I
get
just looked at
reported.
my calendar, that's
It
the
is-
next week.
It's all public knowledge that the clerk can get you. Any of the finances where the money went. Now, once, say if money went here, you got 5 of these. Once it goes from there to
On
here,
out.
we don't have that. Is that correct? But we know where these entities got it,
Yes, we know where all these entities got the money.
but we don't know what they did with it. We have no
Well, according to the applications, they do specific things with it.
Yeah, but we don't know
But
what
then
they
it's our,
spend
but then
it
it's
on.
our job to confirm that, is that right? That's part of the reporting, is that right? Okay. So we need to, we're gonna have to have a lot of cooperation from a lot of entities to get all this information, unless they give us an extension.
Did you or did you not say earlier that that wasn't required, and as far as the county reporting to the federal government, you said something to that effect just 10 minutes ago when asked about why we hadn't reported what the money was spent on. You said I wasn't asked that, it wasn't part of it, but we did none of it. So how do we actually know what they want from us?
Jim knows.
The only thing that they want was the money spent for specific items, and there's specific funds that it can be used for.
With no proof, they don't want any backup
No,
proof.
we wanted to have the proof, and that's why we did an application. That way we knew what they were getting and what they were supposedly using the funds for. And
You
I
also
just
said you
talked,
granted that first come, first served. and
But
that
if
was
it's
the
not
last
So-
part of the required
Well-
reporting, that should help.
where it
Move
was
forward.
with the previous funding under the CARES Act, we had them later, once they received the funding, send us information as what they had done. It wasn't a requirement then either, but Larry Hacker and Alvin and I talked it over, and we thought, we need to have more than just the application. So
That's all well and good.
That's why I told John this
Smart.
morning and Trent, we need to put a letter together and send it out to the entities that we have given the funding to, verifying that you used the funding for that. If not, you have to reimburse the county that funds so we can redistribute it or have it available to show the government where it's at.
In 12
So
days.
then, to your
It's
answer
about 9
there,
working days.
Jim, at any time in the last 4 years, have you requested from any of the entities we've dispersed to?
We have not asked for it because
So-
we were not really required to answer for the funding until 25 and 26.
No, you weren't.
So why are we out of
Why
compliance?
would you not, so you know, you have not submitted any reporting whatsoever, nor have you provided any oversight
The
over
allo-
the disbursements.
The allocation of the funds had to be done by the end of 25. The money had to be spent by 26. So if we do now, finding out, did you use the money for what you were supposed to? Fine. If not, return it so we can have it back. So if the
So
government
those
says,
entities,
well, it wasn't.
are they on notice that they're gonna need
That's
to
what we were
provide
just
that?
talking about this morning.
So no,
No,
they weren't.
No, they were not put on notice.
He just won't say no, because then he'll say yes on the job.
We could have talked about it for the last 4 years, but we're waiting until
And
right now.
You keep saying we don't have to do this until 26, then why are we in non-compliance right now?
Well, that wouldn't be the
Our-
point, though,
our
for the
deadline
last
was
2
April
years back,
30th.
22 and 23.
The deadline was April 30th, 2024. The independent audit shows that even the years prior were in non-compliance. The audit that's about to come out will show it's also in non-compliance for those years.
For reporting the
We
funding.
have they offered us an extra year until April 30th of 2025. Since then, January 15th is when that letter come out, said you either do this, you either comply, give us a dang good reason why you're not, or you pay the money back. And here's the dates, you have to do it by these times. The letter that he says he had never seen or gotten.
I haven't seen it.
And there's been
I-
numerous follow-ups prior to this point.
That's
and
what I'm
here we
trying to
are.
think when it was.
January 15th, it's dated. I mean, it's on the treasury report. I mean, it's all in the treasury
The
department.
February 10th, email to back that up as well.
Yes, there's been multiple emails since then. There was an email
But you have to open
just 3 or 4 days ago. Yes,
Or reply.
they have to be opened and replied. And once again, they're offering help to get in compliance. The only issue that I can see is where that the email where they sent it, that we are administratively closed out of that. I don't know if they would let Jim do anything if he even tried. The Treasury Department has said those years are closed. which means we would have 61,000 that came in the last year that we could still be in compliance with. The 2 years prior, if we cannot get them to work with us, they're closed, and that money gets paid back.
So if he would resign, do you think we'd have a better chance of getting them to help us get this paid back?
I think that Jim, and I think that, honestly, I think, Jim, you should resign. I think your neglect, the sheer neglect of this office, you should have enough dignity and respect for the people of Bates County that you've supported for years, and somewhat in a good way. I won't take that away from you. But to sit here and bankrupt our county, where we would have to buy a bond and take years to pay out of it, I think it's the last dignified thing that you could do in this office.
Grounds for.
And I'm not trying to pick on anyone. I'm with the citizens of Bates County. I got hired by the citizens of Bates County. I worked for the citizens of Bates County. I don't mean this arrogantly, but I won that election 3-1. I won every town. There's a reason why the citizens of Bates County elected me. That's who I work for.
Yeah.
We the people, by the people, for the people. This is not our government up here. This is your government up here. And I'm here for the citizens of Bates County. If the citizens want his resignation, then he should resign.
Yes, please.
And that would be much easier than more public embarrassment with contacting governor, attorney general, state auditor, and there will be more.
Grounds for removal is incompetency, which is gross ignorance of official duties, and gross carelessness in the discharge of those duties. And I think, sir, we have grounds for removal
Yes.
as incompetent. I wish you would please step down and let us deal with this going forward, because we have grounds for removal.
And it's okay, just bite the bullet and admit it. You didn't know, what needed to happen.
But he
He
did know what needed to happen.
You
Right,
can't
but
get that
I
many
mean,
emails and not
He
know what's
says he didn't
expected.
know what needed to happen.
Can we have a meeting next Monday? Give us a week.
Why don't
We don't have enough
why
time.
don't we give whoever steps into that position 2 weeks instead of giving him 1 week? Because he's not gonna fix this in a
Okay,
week. He's
speaking
had
for
5 years.
myself, I have no trust that anything's
4
gonna
years.
happen in 1 week. I don't know about everybody
Yeah.
else, but there's no trust that anything's gonna get done.
If it hasn't in 4 years, it's not gonna get done in a week.
Right.
Is Jamie Page in here?
She's, yeah.
What is the procedure for getting, commissioner removed? Is it a ballot initiative, or how does that work?
There's no state statute that allows like impeachment of a county elected official. Unless something criminally was done that I know of, beside a resignation, I don't know.
Mr. Whaley, how many signatures would it take on a petition for you to realize that you should step down? That's an honest question. How many of the people that elected you would have to say, I no longer want you to serve, for you to humbly step down and say, I resign?
It'd be the same for any other petition or issue going forward.
And do you want all these people?
I'm saying, do you want it to be that big of a hoorah?
Do we need to
Do we need to do that?
escalate this to that point?
Because all that's doing is hurting all of us, because the problem is the deadline, March 15th. So,
Do you want that public humility?
yeah.
And there'll be attorney fees.
Oh, to further bankrupt us?
A recall.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Maybe something else we voted on. I know it's called the state before, this is the statute. County elected official to be removed.
So, Mr. Wheatley, is that what you're saying, that you, on your own will not resign, we must take further action if that's what we want to see happen? Is that what we should leave here believing?
Or can you just peacefully resign today and we can move on and clean this mess up?
Let me do some thinking on it and I'll let you know by Wednesday. I'm serious.
We don't have time till Wednesday.
Hey, guys, one thing we need to think about is if according to the regulations and the rules, the presiding commissioner is the one that's supposed to fill out these forms, okay? If he steps down, there has to be some kind of an appointed,
Dale, statute, I can appoint, in the absence of a presiding commissioner, I can appoint one of the other two commissioners. As
So we
to-
can
Nice.
appoint John.
Good.
that was my question.
So we
I
could
just
get it
didn't
cleaned
wanna
up right away.
Get us in behind the 8 ball.
I mean, John's figured out more to do in a short amount of time.
Mr. Wheatley, can we give you till this afternoon?
How about 30 seconds?
Yeah, how about before we leave, we need this done.
I don't have anywhere to go.
We all have jobs and places to be, and this isn't exactly where we wanted to be today.
But it needs done. The citizens of Steps Forward got the thing done.
Like I say, I'll let you know by Wednesday morning.
It's gonna be a long few days sitting here staring at everybody. Cause I don't think we're going anywhere.
It's up to you.
So the reporting is on hold until Jim makes his decision.
No.
No, we can't
He's
do
still
that.
the acting commissioner, it's his job to be working on getting it fixed.
You're correct, it is, but is that gonna happen?
No.
No.
Well,
So
might
I
be-
would ask
might
you
be
to-
a way
John
to
said he
save
was gonna
face.
step in and
Mr.
kinda,
Wheatley, basically, you're asking us for 48 hours. In the next 48 hours, what are you going to do to deal with the non-compliance situation that we're in?
Program right now instead of anything else. So everything else that the county's dealing with is on hold until I can get this cleared up.
It is what you to clear it up, is let somebody else do it.
Okay, so we got a couple of guys that are willing to, help with that for the next couple of days to see if we can make some progress. Is that right, Tyler?
Yes.
I will help with that if there's anything I can do.
I have a question with that. Why would it take this embarrassment for our county, not just here, but our county? Why would it take that embarrassment to finally do something, Jim? I mean, that's an honest question. Why
I don't
would
have an
it,
answer for you, John.
why would it ever get to this point?
I don't have an answer for you.
I mean,
Our
random
county
citizens
don't
have
need
to step
any
up
more
and do
black
their job.
eyes.
He's got a guaranteed paycheck till the next election.
No.
He won't resign now, I guarantee you, he won't resign Wednesday.
No, exactly. And it
Well,
shouldn't take random citizens stepping up to do your job for you.
We are pleading with you to step down. Do the right thing and step down.
Don't waste another couple days of our time.
There's not a big difference between now and Wednesday, just do it now.
You heard what I said.
So we come back with more people on a petition Wednesday to hear his answer?
That's the bullheadedness that got us in this trouble to start with.
Yep.
Yeah.
You've lost all our trust.
Didn't sound like I had any trust to begin with.
And
You're right. I
You were
see
elected at some
arrogance
point, so
and
at some point
confidence.
people have trusted you. You've lost it, and now you're refusing to take accountability
Arrogance.
and remain arrogant.
Well, and by Wednesday, this room's gonna be filled times 12.
Yes.
Once word gets out.
Is that what you want with petitions and with people, you're demanding your resignation again, is that what you want, or do you want to just humbly do it now when the room is smaller than it will be Wednesday?
By the time this hits social media, there's gonna be people out the door.
Oh, and it's already there. That's how I got here.
So if you want to wait till Wednesday, you can, but it will not be,
It does not be your view, sir.
no.
Okay, I'm just saying.
What are you saying?
I will wait until Wednesday. I wanna work on this all day today and tomorrow. and
That's
see what
not
we
gonna change our feelings.
Yeah,
I don't care about your feelings at this point. I
You
wanna get this
don't-
taken
you
care of.
don't-
Listen,
You
I
don't
wanna
care
get
about
this
the
taken
citizens.
care of.
You don't
Yeah.
care about the citizens that
Yes,
voted you
if I
down.
didn't, I wouldn't be here to begin with.
If you cared,
I
you'd
did
resign.
everything I can.
If you cared, you'd resign.
The
Because for
citizens are
2
asking
more
you to resign.
years, 2 more years, we're gonna not get the funding we should have gotten because you're not competent to do the
No, because on
job.
Wednesday we come back here.
Bill before we can know what the bill
There,
says.
there is definitely funding we have missed out on because of our non-compliance. I mean,
And are they ever
it's
gonna
black
give us
and white.
funding again because we've made butts of ourselves?
If we don't comply, and there again, there's 2 years that the Treasury Department has closed, and that's over $3 million. If we do not comply,
That's the first thing.
I
we
don't
have to
know
figure
how
out to
long it
comply.
would be before the Treasury Department allowed us
Yeah, we gotta figure something out.
to get, federal funding again, if it would take new commissioners,
if it would take somebody begging, pleading with them. I don't know what it would take with them for us to be able to get grants and stuff again. But as long as we're in non-compliance, just like the ones that we've missed out on, that we were in, I mean, we had the money, but they would not give it to us because of our non-compliance.
Do any of our federally level representatives, any congressmen, senators that we can reach out to and maybe get a kind ear somewhere in the treasury to help resolve this? Is there someone that can?
The state of Missouri, we obviously have our state reps, you know, Sherry Gollick, Dane Deal. We have our senators, Smith and Bratton. We also have, auditor's office, we have attorney general. There are many avenues to approach this. I will tell you with those, they move really slow. But there's tons of avenues to,
Well, I think
that
we
we
have
can
some
go.
time for the non-compliance, cause it's already there. The most urgent is dealing with the current reporting. So can we appoint someone to reach out to someone with some federal or state oversight here and see if they can help kind of guide us through?
We could
remedying this?
easily start a committee. That's not a problem. I will tell you, with the last 4 years, things that have happened, I will tell you that we are under the microscope with the state right now. Different departments. And you also don't have a state senator shoot one across the bow on social media and think that nothing's gonna happen there either. We need as much of this stuff resolved as fast as we can and put a good light back in Bates County. Let's not, when these, just say there's, like Frozen Food Express come in a few years ago. When these companies, when we want our county to grow, we want our cities and towns to grow, and they see elected officials fighting and bickering like a couple of 12-year-olds. And I'm not picking on either one because they're both involved. But when these companies do that, you think they don't watch our social media?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, there's tons of people that have asked me, you know, why does this town look like this and this one look like this, and how come we can't get this here? There's enough of the black eyes. We need no more black eyes. And the sad thing about it, if these state entities are already looking into Bates County, what else is coming?
But we have to reach out to help from someone.
And they will help. My fear is by reaching out there, it's just gonna fuel a fire. And not saying that they won't help, because they will help.
But
They
the
will
firewood's
help.
there.
Yeah, the fire's already there. But it's just gonna make them ask more questions.
As arrogant as he has been to the citizens of Bates County today, how arrogant do you think he is to
Cooperate with someone trying to help
these
remedy.
entities?
Well, you'd have to open the emails.
Yeah,
Yeah, that'd be a start.
answer them. How many emails were there that were unanswered?
90.
Probably 90, 94, 95, somewhere in that range budgeted.
That's a lot of chances to remedy a situation, sir.
Over the course of years. And Mr. Wheatley, you know that this is an issue. You've known it for quite some time. And to hear that you don't have a solid forward plan, I've contacted this person, this is in place, here's where we're going, this is the next step. I'm going to try to log in, and could Citizen Joe help me? Do you see the shortcoming in your strategy to remedy this?
Are the and I'm kind of shifting gears here, are the applications that the 3 commissioners made, are they a contract for the people that got the money, or just an application? And it's a 2-part question, and do those applications align with what the federal government says we had to do? And if so, why did we need a separate county application for it? Why couldn't they just be given the federal application?
There's no federal application to it.
So we, as commissioners, you guys made the application.
The paper's right.
Does it align with, and it's an application, is it a contract?
Trying to think if it was or not, I'd have to look at it one of them and see.
Well, isn't
They were
it supposed to be a
notarized.
contract?
When they turned it back in, they had to be notarized.
So we would basically,
So it's a application slash contract. And it follows all the federal guidelines. So the people you give the money to, there should be no problem with their compliance to the
because
federal
it matched
guidelines.
everything that was allowed under the final ruling.
Okay.
The final ruling come out about 3 different times before they finally ended saying this is the last one. They would change things from time to time as what was allowed, what wasn't allowed, who could get funding, who couldn't get funding.
Right.
So when they finally come up with the last one, we didn't put any applications out until we got the final ruling. That's when we started putting applications out. Otherwise, it would have been a total
The
mess.
requirements for annual reporting never changed.
Pardon?
The requirements for annual reporting never changed.
So
That I
here's
doubt.
that
Well,
shows that
We
we.
still would have had to fill out the form to fill out.
He didn't know what they started with, cause he said the reason he took the money was because he didn't look at and what all the requirements were for
How to
the program.
administer the program.
So how would he know if they changed from the beginning? He didn't know what they were at the beginning.
So we signed up for a massive business loan and we were supposed to basically give the bank our tax returns and our balance sheet and our personal financial statement, but all we did was take the money from the bank.
Yes.
That's what it boils down to. As a business, we took a
You could
gigantic
term
loan
it that way.
that had reporting requirements.
And we handed out the money.
Yeah, and here's the ARPA application that shows that it would have had to been notarized to sign for all of
And it
everything
says
that he didn't
in the
know that he
ARPA
did.
application, the recipient of these funds must provide the reports to the treasury secretary, and that these reports must be certified.
I mean, unfortunately, it's just one thing after another, after another, after another, after another.
Yes, because this is the most pressing issue that the county faces at the moment. But it's not the only issue that we face due to Mr. Wheatley's actions
Or inaction.
either. This is just the most pressing issue that deserves our attention at this time. So, Mr. Wheatley, that's why we asked for your resignation, because there's more to come. Even after we get through this, there's more stuff that you've done that the county is unhappy with. It's not this one issue. This is just the most pressing issue that our attention is to right now.
Well, it's my understanding, and again, I'm not native to Bates County, but it's my understanding that Bates County is one of the poorest counties in the state of Missouri. So saddling the citizens of Bates County with a $3 million debt is absolutely the most egregious act of leadership I've ever seen in my life.
And easily avoidable debt that will come on because of incompetence and failure.
Well, and it goes to show the need for federal grant money and state money that's available. If we qualify for it, we need to get it.
Yeah.
It's our tax dollars, so we shouldn't feel bad about applying for it and getting it.
But we
But we can't now.
But we also trusted that the people in charge were handling things properly.
That's swore an oath to be in charge.
That were elected, that's exactly right.
What evidence could we present to you, sir, that your continued leadership of this commission is detrimental to the citizens of Bates County? We've presented multiple pieces of evidence here that have brought to light your incompetency in leading this commission. What are we lacking in you understanding that your continuing in this position is detrimental to this county?
It's a really good question. I'd like an answer.
Well, I'm not going to step down today, let's put it that way.
That wasn't the question. The question was, what more evidence do you need to be shown that you're detrimental to the county and should step down? What more could be said or shown to you?
If you have the best interest of the citizens of this county at heart, why should they continue to entrust you to lead them?
I think just that silence speaks for itself.
So you can't give us a reason to trust you in your position, but you also refuse to step down from your position.
Not at this point.
But you don't have a reason that we should trust you either.
Well, you obviously don't trust me, so what reason had I come up with that you would? None. You would not want to believe anything that I would say, so. You've actually gotten your minds already made up as to what's going on, what has happened, what I've done for the county for the last going on 12 years, well, 10 years, 11 years. But yet,
Then why continue to tarnish that reputation? If you have done good for the citizens of this county, why would you not want to see them improve in the future? Why would you not say new leadership can step in and move this county forward?
I'm not saying that new leadership couldn't. I would love to try and finish some of the projects that I have gotten started or tried to get started for the people of this county. But the way it sounds, nobody wants me to finish anything, no matter what project we have going on, no matter
So
what
you're the
funding we have
only
going on.
person
No,
that
I'm
can
not the
see
only person
forward
that can
with
do
this?
that. But working with the other two commissioners, we have moved forward doing things that most commissions can't and wouldn't do. And I'm not saying I'm a bully to do that, or I've been a peaceful guy to do that. I have tried to do everything I can to make certain that the people of this county get the services they need, get the protection they need, and get whatever they need to be able to transit this county. So I'm sorry if that doesn't seem to be good enough for the people.
And put that together with the facts that we have laid before you and your repeated negligence of audit, state audit, private audit, repeated emails to be in compliance. Put that together with the evidence of your past behavior and tell me why we should trust you to do good for us going forwards. You haven't made every attempt, sir. You haven't.
The only attempt that I have not made to get finalized and completed is to get these forms filled out that the government needs to have approval of how the funds were spent.
That we're due annually for the last 3 years.
And that's
When
the
did you
piece.
plan to start?
Today.
He said, he told him this morning we should give this attention.
What a coincidence.
How many other counties has got to send money back in Missouri?
I have no idea, we haven't talked about that.
Maybe you ought to talk to some of the other commissioners and see how they're filling out the paperwork.
Were
I'm
you
just
guys,
an old dumb farmer, but when a guy's corn looks better than mine, I start asking questions to see.
How do you do that?
Yeah, how do you do that?
There's a, we have, MAC, which is Missouri Association of Counties. They had sent out an email, and I'm trying to remember the dates, I think it was, and it came here. I believe there were like 1,500 counties that had not complied, but they were following up with that non-compliance, after they had contacted the counties, recommend, hey, you need to get in compliance. And I would have to go back and look, but I think it was a little over a year ago. But within 3 months, all of those counties had complied, but like 291, I think. And I can't give you exact numbers without looking it up. But there are counties that were in non-compliance, and even when MAC said, hey, you need to get in compliance, they, I won't say nearly all of them, but out of over 1,500, you know, well over 1,000.
So do we know what steps they took to get in compliance?
I have not talked to MAC to see. I know there again, and I don't mean to beat a dead horse, but there are many avenues on nearly every email. I would tell you 3 to 5, maybe 6 different avenues you can take to get the training. There's my personal experience with training on the government level. When I've called in, I've got an actual person on the phone that give me a direct line to them and all but begged me to call back. And I told them, I said, I'm not real tech savvy. So I'm not real good at this. I said, it's been a lot of years. And they said, no, it does not matter. We will get you through this.
They'll walk you
will
through step by
have it.
step.
Step by step, and she did that day. I mean, there were several things on my computer. I'm like, man, I'm just not with you. I can't see what you're seeing. And she said, well, go here, go here, go here, and it all worked out. And within an hour on that particular issue, boom, it was all there and done. And she was there for me if I ever needed her again.
So I have the question, if we can show incompetency in our prior administration of this program, would that give us grace in opening these other reporting periods back up?
I think that the Treasury Department person that I have talked to, I think that the grace is gonna be allowed if someone else comes in and does this. It's not that they couldn't say, hey, you're done. We've already closed those 2 years. You've got X amount of days on this one, which is basically what the letter said. The way she explained it to me is that she would be willing to work with me. Now, if it comes down to that, will she, will they, or not? Because everything that I've worked with her, it goes on ahead to the Treasury Department, which she is not necessarily a supervisor, but she observes all of this stuff. Not quite an investigator, but she's very observant, so she knows what's going on, and then she sends that on. And when they get it from her, they're way more willing to
deal with
pay.
it.
Yes.
Okay, so if the commission were to take and I don't know how this works, if the commission were to take a vote today that says that Mr. Wheatley is unable to complete these requirements, and they vote that you, sir, would step in and correct the issues with the non-compliance, you have the avenues and you think you have the resources to attempt to remedy this?
I believe I do, and we had talked about that earlier. I have already looked at trying to put together a little team to work on this. But part of that team that would be a very valuable part has said, you're on your own if he don't resign.
Can we, if we could get him to agree to step aside from this issue, can we get some help? I mean, if he's refused to resign, if we could get him to agree to step aside from this, he's failed at administrating this program horribly. If you have to vote to remove him from those particular duties, can we do that? He's already said he's not gonna resign, but we have to deal with this issue at hand.
I would tell you, believe Cody, he's gone now. I am in the same boat as you citizens. I have been in here multiple times last year. I've talking to the commissioners. I've talked to commissioners outside of the office. And every time I gotta run around, or different excuses, different stories coming in and looking, I'm like, man, all you guys did was lie to me. You ain't done nothing. My problem is I feel like I'm still a citizen of Bates County, even though I'm in this office. I struggle with trust issues, and as Cody said, I don't know what information he has or where he's gotten it, but I believe that there's other issues that are gonna be exposed to.
Oh, I'm confident in that.
So I guess that's my 2 cents.
But back to the going forward, we have to have a better plan than Mr. Wheatley saying, I'm going to try. We have to have a plan. Can we somehow say these are no longer Mr. Wheatley's duties? And I will take over these duties, and I have citizen A, B, and C, and I will reach out to so-and-so in the I'd like to know the plan, other than I'm gonna try.
I don't know that we could strip him of those duties. I would have to look up statutes. I don't think that there's any way to do that.
Yeah, he told us himself that had to be the presiding commissioner to do it.
Yes, he has signed in, even though Nelson and Mooney got the emails, he was the one in charge, control of them, that's right.
Because I'm the only one that had the access to it.
But anyone can get that access. Trent, Mooney, they can all get that access. In 5 minutes I had it. it's not that hard, and you can get the access without the ID me. It's just, you just follow what they tell you to do. And they'll give you the emails,
Since you're
everything.
unwilling to resign, would you agree to take a leave of absence or step aside in some
Let
other
them
way?
do it. Yes, if he wants to try and get it done, that's fine.
But there again, we're paying them to do the job.
Yeah.
Again,
But guys, it's gotta be done.
but there,
Oh, I agree.
It's gotta be
I agree
done.
100%.
But then if
Otherwise
it gets
wouldn't
done,
be.
is he gonna step down, or is he gonna come back and act like everything's
Well,
fine?
No, he's still gonna milk the penny for his paycheck.
Yeah, I mean, at this point in time, we just gotta get this, we gotta
We
get
gotta
this
get it
$3
done.
million deal fixed.
Thank you.
That's cut and dry. All this other stuff, we can address at the next meeting, or 2 meetings from now, but we gotta get this $3 million thing fixed.
So will you guys be here every day until, you know, we reconvene Monday, or are you still doing your 2-day work week?
I have been
What
here
are you gonna need?
3 to 4 days a week since I've been elected. Other than off days for weather, I've been called back in, I came in voluntarily. I don't stay all day, there's lots of times I'll come in, I'll go through emails for 2 or 3 hours, or send emails. There's things at the courthouse that I've worked on, but as far as every day, this is something, yes, definitely has to be addressed. They're, at this point, we really can't have any rest on this subject. My first email to the Treasury Department, I basically begged them to let me work on this. I have one live person that says she will. And then we've gotten emails from, there again, that's this person, and the Treasury's over here.
Right.
Since then, we've got emails from here that have also, that's when I learned that we are administratively closed and can't. So, and we were in trainings last week, so I come in one afternoon for just a little while, before our training. So since then, I have not been in. I have not contacted her about the administratively closed years, and I know that's the worst one. That's over $3 million. Will she let me go back and do that? I can't guarantee that, but I'm very hopeful. I'm
We
very
have
hopeful.
to try, so are
Oh,
you
yeah.
saying that they
Yeah.
will only deal with the presiding commissioner, is that what I'm hearing?
No, they,
He's saying he's the only one with a
oh,
login and the only one that
no,
can do it.
I've got a login.
If you get a log
I got
in,
one
you
the
can
other
try and
day.
get into it.
Yeah, cause if he can do it, then that means Jim doesn't have to.
Well,
Yeah.
I
I'm
don't
sure
care
that there will
at
be
this point.
issues that I will have with it. Again, I'm not real tech savvy. I kind of worked my way through it. It's been about probably 6 years since I've even really been on a computer. I've been kind of semi-retired, I guess. But I am getting there. There's some things, you know, they just come back and this lady is willing to work with me.
I personally want to know that there's an avenue forward in this rather than all drop.
There is an avenue forward. I will tell you, many times emails and stuff will go out, and it may be days before you hear back. And it may be this one knows what's going on, but the right hand doesn't. Left hand does, right hand doesn't, or vice versa. So there's a combination getting, and that's just federal government. I mean, that's any government office, really. So there is hope. I offer no guarantees, but there is hope that we can move forward with this. The 61,000, the last one that was due in April 30th of 2024, that was due then. They extended that to 2025, but since then have given us a deadline and said, you comply or else you pay the money
Because we
back.
haven't done anything.
And there's been nothing done.
Right.
And after I received that email, that's when I started working with the Treasury Department, and that was on or right after January 15th. Like I say, I haven't contacted her since last week while we were gone, so I've only had a few days to do that. When I do come in on my off days, yeah, I always turn it on, check them emails. I mean, I'm waiting to hear back. I think that we need to be very respectful and appreciative of what this lady is willing to do
Amen.
Say a lot of prayers.
for our county.
Yeah.
And
Can we agree then, there'll be another meeting on Wednesday, and you'll update us with what steps you've been able to make, and Mr. Wheatley will let us know whether or not he is,
I'm fine with that, if Nelson, if you and Jim, if you're fine with that.
this is
I'm fine
urgent,
with it.
guys, this is urgent,
And
so.
so next week, on Monday,
Yeah, this
Wednesday.
Wednesday. 2 days.
Two
He's gonna let us know
They're going to
Wednesday.
give us an update on what steps they've been able to accomplish, where we're at in remedying this, and Mr. Wheatley's gonna let us know the future of our county.
I'm not trying to be quick.
Okay.
Correct? In 2 days, you'll give us an update, what steps have been taken, have we made any progress, and Mr. Wheatley's going to update us on our future.
And what time on Wednesday?
I don't, whatever's
Can we do-
good for you,
can we
10
do
o'clock,
10?
10 a.m. be as good as today.
Okay.
Thanks, guys, for